by installing selective catalytic reduction equipment and additional bag houses of 2023. This presented the Navajo generating station with numerous hurdles to overcome in the time allowed, and one harsh owner, the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, withdrew from its ownership in 2016 as unable to invest in improvements due to a California law prohibiting long-term investment in coal-fired power plants. Nevada Energy announced its withdrawal of partial ownership by 2019. As a result of these and other factors, the plant ceased operation in November 2019. Native American tribe members made up approximately 83% of plant employees and approximately 93% of mine employees, in both cases predominantly Navajo. Indirectly, the plant and the mine supported a further 1,600 full-time positions. If the combined operations had continued to run in 2020, they're expected to have supported more than 2,000 indirect jobs in the Navajo Nation alone. The combined operations paid out approximately $100 million in direct wages and $50 million in royalties and leases per annum. Of the latter, approximately $37 million went to the Navajo Nation and approximately $13 million to the Treaty Tribe. Payments in 2012 accounted for approximately 25% of the Navajo Nation's revenue and approximately 65% of the total tribes. The cumulative economic impact on Arizona for the period of 2011 to 2044 being anticipated closure of the copper plant, was estimated at $20 billion in gross state product. This equated to approximately $330 million per annum in disposable income and approximately $20 million per annum in state tax revenues. All of the jobs and the economic benefit are gone forever. Third, San Juan generating station in San Juan Mine, which I'm sure you know is situated a few miles north of this chapter house. This was also constructed in the 1970s. It was fitted with sulfur dioxide scrubbers and upgraded backgrounds. Unfortunately, like the Navajo generating station before it, this wasn't enough to save it. The last unit ceased operation in October 2022. The closure of the plant and the mine has already adversely affected the surrounding communities, including the Navajo Nation. The poverty rate within the district is 4 times the national average. The median annual household income is around $20,000, and the unemployment rate is around 70%, exponentially higher than the national average. Hundreds of well-paid jobs have already gone, along with tens of millions of dollars in annual tax revenue used to fund the CCSD schools and in community college. Fourthly, the Four Corners generating station in the Navajo mine, which is known as a few miles to the south of this chapter house. Unfortunately, this also has been fitted with upgrades and stuff like that. But in 2010, APS announced that it would buy out Southern California Edison's share of units 4 and 5, install pollution control measures on them, and retire units 1, 2, and 3. This was released in 2013. Subsequently, MTech acquired El Paso Electric 7% share of it. Four Corners generating stations built on land east of Navajo Nation were reset to expire in 2041. However, in 2020, APS announced they bring forward the decommission to 2031, 7 years ahead of the original climate date 2038. In summary, please may I just finish, as I have 2 paragraphs to do. I consider myself fortunate in having been able to have a well-paying mines of the Four Corners, San Juan, La Plata, and now Navajo. It is
Thank you, Mr. Clyde. We do have a long list of individuals, so we'll give them the opportunity to also say something. And again, if although there is a time limit, if there is a written testimony or written supporting documents, we are also having our team collect those as well. So those are also being welcome for submission. So next we do have Justin Bowman.
Well, my name is Justin Bowman. Thank you for your time to being here. I'm from Ship Park, New Mexico. Grew up in raised Ship Park. Lived at Rattlesnake Lake. But I work at the mine. I worked at the mine for 6.5 years. And the growth of the mine is pretty amazing how the reclamation and everything has happened through those years. they've, got all these, people talking about it on the mine area, but the reclamation is phenomenal. It's, they make it better than what it used to be, versus like the solar power. The solar power is, if you were to dissect the solar power panel, it uses like 5 mines, 6 mines, all our natural resources, but coal mine is kind of like farming in a way. You got Nappy right next to us, which they harvest, plant life or the corn, alfalfa. But the mining plant does the same thing. They harvest coal, but when all the topsoil and everything is set aside and they harvest the coal, everything's put back to better than what it was before. The geology of the land with the rain and everything else has eroded the land where water is designed to kind of leave the area. But once the reclamation is done, everything goes back to zero, so it can sustain life. So you got livestock, and animal, plant life, growing, versus your solar power. Anything solar power takes acres and acres of land, and you can't. Most of that stuff's all fenced in. You'll never have any plant life or human activity out there. And the bad thing about it is, the only way solar power can survive is if there's no weed, no livestock, so everything has to be fenced off, and they got to spray weed killer around here, so there's no plant life at all, no animal life. So I'm in support of keeping the coal mine open. It's helped my family out tremendously. I used to travel with the oil field company through California, Utah, Colorado, and I was gone most of the years, but since working here, it's brought me home. And no one can know a lot of people where I work at has been very well too. I'm very good too, because there's a very diversity of people there. You got a lot of engineers and planners and mechanics and electricians, and just a very wide range of education, and that mine has contributed to a lot of education, a lot of experience, and a lot of generations of people. But that's all I say. My name is one of the partners. Yeah. There you go.
So again, thank you, Justin, for those comments. And again, we are also joined by a chairwoman, Delegate Amber Kiswak-Crowley. So at this time, I'll allow her to introduce herself.
Yate, should Kia Ani Nishna, so inviting people message to you. Destiny Vesitino, Irish Civil Yoga, Shay Amber, Kia Shopani, Yedisha Full for event, Shas, I come from Sheep Springs. I represent 7 communities, Sheep Springs, Great Hills, Colina, Sanoski, Red Valley, Cove, and Victoria. So I see some of my constituents here and relatives, so I appreciate the opportunity, speaker, with the council to come out to the different communities on the impact. And I want to thank Shiash Chairman Nez for hosting us here at your chapter, and my colleagues who are here. I'm gonna say I parked in between those big buses. So if you gotta move the bus, let me know. But I'll move my little ride, so I just want to make sure. I got good insurance, but I don't want to make a claim. So thank you all for being here. We're committed to hearing of your voice, your perspective, and hoping that we can come up with creative and looking at the holistic impact of the future of coal. What are some of the opportunities? What are lessons learned, and how we move forward? We represent truthfully. So this gentleman here texts me on a regular basis on the impacts to our communities. And so I just want to thank Senator Lujan in your office, and understanding the dynamic and challenges of the Navajo economy. So I appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Chairwoman Amber Kiswak-Crowley. And next we will have Alfred Lee Jr.
Morning, my name is Alfred Lee Jr. I'm from Carroll. County, Chichester, Quando você assistir, que anos, né? Not trying to miss check. I was born here in Shiprock. My mom's from Newcomb there. I grew up in Gallup. Such a cheap, area. But, yeah, I was gonna come here and talk about the, cold is, what it's done for my family is, it's gave me stable income, been able to, have my kids go have better opportunities. It's helped me finish, my education, I've got my degree in, diesel technology and stuff like that. Also, I just want to talk about the effects of closing down coal mines, like I've seen firsthand effects of, black body. The areas around there where people come and talk to me saying, this is gone, you can't read a few more. Same with Page, people's moved, people's left. The elderly, their kids have moved. We're just talking about that, and then as far as the revenue from there, also the affects the Head Start, and scholarships, the elderly programs. So, I mean, this doesn't just affect just coal, it affects a lot of areas, especially our vendors, contractors. We support a lot more, it's kind of spider webs out. But yeah, mainly just the economy, and then more revenue for the whole area, having people. Work, it's just, like I said, it contributes to a lot of the whole area. But yeah, I just want to bring that up, I just want to say that, thanks.
Thank you, Alfred. So next we do have Rachel Allison. Rachel Allison.
Hello, Rachel Allison, Navajo, and go down in Washington, Michigan, go down in Michigan. I'm a community member here, and I've lived here all my life. My mother was a late Sophia Health, my grandparents were the late Elta Dodge and John Dodge Sr. And my grandfather once told me not to work for the mines when we were younger. Not because of the negative stigma that was associated with mining back then, but because he would believe that the mines would still be here. Luckily, I stand here today as a proud third generation miner here at bottom of the mine, and I'm honored to have proven him wrong. We're still here despite the odds, despite the challenges, despite the battles that we've had to fight, and we continue to stand strong. Unfortunately, as you know, a lot of mines across the United States and even the Navajo Nation, they've had to close. And these closures force families to relocate. And luckily, we had some of those displaced workers find their way to Navajo mine and start working alongside of us. I've seen firsthand the positive impact our mine has had on our community. It's provided a good life for my family, from my grandfather's generation, my mother's, and now mine. And for many countless families around this community as well. And I know that the difference we make is also more than just a paycheck for us. It's also a difference that we make for our community. We provide for United Way, we have scholarship programs, and we also have educational support. In fact, if it wasn't for the mine, I wouldn't have had a lot of scholarships that I got to attend college and to eventually get the job that I have now. And that's why I respectfully ask you to support the executive order 14241 so that we can continue supporting families, not just ours, but also those in our community and also those for their future. Thank you.
Next we have Roland Roy. Ronald Roy.
Thank you, Shimon Honorable Christopher Curley.
George Toll, I'm McCarty, Rick, Rick and I go way back. Yeah, away from the crowd. We gotta face the crowd. Rick and I, my younger brother, his name is Randy. See, we used to visit with older brother, Rick's older brother. And my mom used to ask him, question yet, Richard was, my little brother was only like 3, 4. Question yet, Richard. Back in the day, thank you for allowing us, partners, Hardy, Mr. Hardy. So, yeah, j'ai pas de chine, je sens pas faire créer une vache chine. Donc, وثانية ده شيلو ما عادش إيه ده شمال إيه the men's I'm involved with a veteran organization quite a bit. So imagine this, back in the day when we had no running water, I think people still have no running water. When the out there 55-gallon drums, they bring it to wash, to clean. No electricity either, so people still don't have electricity. Back when I was up, we had a kerosene lamp. We had this kerosene lamp, it was lighted up. It was like today you would look at it, it's a night light. You see a night light, you leave it on. That's how dim it was. Out of this in the evening, we used to bring in wood, chop wood, especially during the winters. Out of the coal. We used to get coal and then you had to get a little 5-gallon bucket, 2-gallon buckets, bring them in so we could keep the house warm throughout the night. At the same time, we used to use it for cooking too. We didn't have when I grew up, we didn't have a butane, we didn't have stoves. We just had a one pot belly stove, wood stove right in the middle of our little house. So our wood and coal, that was our source of heat. Nenahnezad. So been employed with BHP back then. We went through 3, 4 companies since I started. So I've been working with BHP now, it's into about 30+ years. Grew up mechanic. So worked on drag lines, went across the river when it was still BHP San Juan, out of the platinum mine. I got to know a lot of the co-workers, except these new generation. We got a bunch of new people. So we went through managers, mine managers, different guys. Let me tell you a little secret of where's Norman, our chapter president. 1990, I got hired within that BHP the same day. So I don't how he disappeared from the sign no editor. Finally found him, I guess he's a chapter president over here. What they said, it's okay, and I'm sure Trump signed, he signs these and next one. Over 100 executive orders. 14241, coal is abundant and cost effective and can be used in any weather conditions. Imagine Phoenix right now. Phoenix is over 100. If this whole power plant that is burning shuts down, how many of those people in Phoenix are going to survive? What do you think? Think about it. There's high demand in electricity. Hot. We need that cooler. In here, we got a nice facility. Don't take it for granted. Inside here, nice. We don't have to be out in the heat or out in the shade. So if it does, power plant goes down, Phoenix is going to be crying. People are going to be
They want to demand solar panels. What about on cloudy days, rainy days? Are those solar panels efficient? Yeah, green is good. It's good. Keep the clean turbines. But we still need power plant. Demand for coal. Right now, as of today, Navajo mine. Demand, we got two equipment down, the big equipment. And we need more coal. High demand at today as we speak. So America's economic prosperity and national security. That's the executive order that came from Trump. Hey, you see the difference. Fourth job, yes. We send our kids to college. My son, he lives works with Chevron in Texas. He's got his family over there. My other son, he's got a degree, bachelor's degree in Fort Lewis. And my daughter, right now, as we speak, she's going through San Juan College. So, if it does anything, we're all affected. This boat sinks, everybody sinks, and it will affect this economy. Local people here, Farmington, all these areas. It will affect.
Yeah.
So,
Did you guys get it
I'm gonna
started?
invite them
Not
to
yet. Okay.
executive order
But as soon as it gets.
142, 41, Trump sign. Pero, espera, si no, no, yourself, thank you all.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Roy. Next we do have Michael Dan.
All right, good morning, everybody. Thank you again, Speaker and Council staff. I just want to share this with you guys, the benefits of coal with me and my family. Again, being a miner, working at the Navajo mine for 33 years. Also being a veteran, coming out from the first Gulf War. I was very fortunate to go on and start my career here once I got back from the war across, fulfilling my duties as a veteran as well. Being a father of 5 kids, I was able to send my kids to college with funding that I got from work, benefits that, was applied to them as well. The other thing I want to mention too is that way back, I think we've been exposed to coal a long time ago, bringing coal in for our grandparents, and that's how they survived the winters and heating and stuff like that. So we've been around coal for a while and the importance of it. But coming back from serving the Gulf, being a veteran, there's 2 options you had: either go to school or go to work somewhere. And at the time, I was very fortunate, like I said, to get on board and continue this career with coal. As some of the examples that the past speakers have mentioned, that the impact of coal is all around us, not only to the workers itself, the community, but also to the schools. A lot of that sponsorship funding goes to schools and local areas as well. So I can attest to that because I asked the mine itself to support my kids growing up with T-ball, little league baseball, basketball. We even have a facility across here in Kirtland, the KYA, that's still supported by mine and local companies as well. But for the most part, I think I'm really happy that the president has actually signed this proclamation. And at the same time, it allows opportunities for us to continue this growth for not only ourselves here, but the next generation and possibly the generation after that. A lot of opportunities out there for them. With the coal mine we have right now, we also have a lot of training going on and developing our young workers, a lot of new faces, like they mentioned before, that have come aboard. I think looking at their future and where I was at 33 years ago, I didn't feel like I was going to be here to attest to that as well. But very grateful for that. But just to raise awareness to the staff and I guess the council there, that it not only affects the local area, but there's not, or the workers there, but also the contractors, the local cities, they're all impacted by that too as well. But I just want to make sure that I share with you guys how that impacted me and my family. Thank you.
At this time, we do have a question by Chairwoman Crotty, so I'll allow some time to ask a question.
Yeah, thank you. I want to appreciate your comments and as you mentioned, contractors. So we do have an ongoing conversation with Navajo Transitional Energy Company and abiding by Navajo Nation laws, like Navajo preference, especially when it comes to contractors. So I wanted to see, do we have any NTEC board members in the audience that are here? If you could come up, board member. I know you're just kidding, but I just wanted to make sure if the Minds leadership was here supporting any of the comments. No Mind leadership? How about the CEO? I don't see him. Minds president? General manager? Okay, can you call to see if your board is gonna come and listen to the public hearings and support the workers? I mean, they make these high level decisions. And we really want to make sure that Navajo Venetian laws are that the mines find those. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Matt Brown. I am the general manager for the Navajo. I think I'm gonna be on that list a little bit later. Hopefully it comes through. But I can tell you, it is our first priority to utilize tier 1 and tier 2 vendors at the coal mine, which are solely owned or at least 50% owned by Navajo individuals that for our vendor support. That is the first and foremost look that we look for when we look for our vendors that have come to help support them.
We may have to turn that off. Can you provide that documentation? Because when we speak directly with subcontractors and contractors, it's our understanding that the mine is hiring non-Navajo contractors. And it could be a cost perspective, but that's one of the reasons why the mine was continues to be a good acting partner, that we want to have opportunities for all of those contractors and subcontractors. Thank you.
Yes, we can supply that documentation. Get that in. But that is our first and foremost priority. That is our first priority, is to have Navajo vendors on site first and foremost for the needs of the mine. If we're unable to attain those, we may have to look outside of that, but that is our first priority. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown, for that clarification. So we'll be looking forward to your correspondence. Next, we do have Scott Sterenson.
Have one of these. Y'all tell you, Danny, my name is Scott Stevenson. I had the pleasure of working on Navajo mine for the last going on 3 years. I've had the ability in my career to work at many different mines, and by far, it's truly a blessing to be able to work at the mine. Not only just the way the difference in the mines that I've worked at before, they've always said their community and always acted as if they were a community mine. They were to a certain extent. They really were. But what I've seen and grown to love and cherish about the mine that we have here is, it truly is a community endeavor. The Navajo mine, NTEC, they reach out and try to be involved in anything they can be. Also, I don't have a plan, as you can say. But one thing I have learned after being here and getting involved with the people, everybody in this room is my plan, or I'm concerned. All I'm trying to do is try to make Navajo a better place for more generations to come, and get to experience it's just hard. Unless you work out there, you really don't get to enjoy the experience like what you would if you did. But anyway, I go on to my words I have here. Co-production on the Navajo Nation, especially through the Navajo mine, is a pillar of economic stability and community support for over 60 years. That's amazing alone by itself, 60 years. It's easy to take it off for granted. Always been there until one day it has a possibility of being gone. After spending 2 years here learning about the true impact of the Navajo mine, it's clear this operation is far more than just coal mine. It contributes to a third of the Navajo Nation's annual budget. Funds scholarship for students, provides coal to heat the homes, which we call the church program. And I'll have to say, if you've never had the opportunity to go and see the effort that all the ladies do with the church program to keep everybody in line in order to make sure they get good quality coal, take a visit out there during the winter time, take a look at it. Water for families, solar energy power to remote households, and countless community programs, which amounts to $4 million.
No.
Just that alone. The Navajo Nation holds multiple generations of coal reserve, an asset that, if managed wisely, can keep lights on, economically strong for generations to come. As we navigate the future, we must not lose sight of how vital this resource is to our daily life and the people's well-being. As the saying goes, you don't know what you have until it's gone. I want everybody in this room to just sit here and think about it. I want to ask you, what would you do? I mean, what would one day after normal feel like? That's all I got. Thank y'all very much.
Next, we do have Christina Aston.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and honorable council delegates and all the other Nenahnezad in the room. I want to speak on two sides of this. As an employee, I've had 35 plus years with Navajo Mine or Intech and all the other companies before then. I was hired on when it was BHP, and through them, they started an apprenticeship, and I took advantage of the electrical. And so, finished that program. I am an electrician. If you're in the electrical world, you know that being an MSHA certified electrician is kind of the top in the electrical world. So, and those are hard to find. And but I don't think I would have gotten that opportunity anywhere else. And so I really appreciate that. My family, my daughter, I'm a single parent, and I don't think I would have had those opportunities elsewhere. And especially now with DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion is under attack. And so, and I didn't even introduce myself. My first clan is Clutch Cheat, born for Dakota Cheating. And Shiche is Putnasutney, and Nelly Man is Hushcushy. However, I do want to speak more on as an elected school board official for CCSD and knowing the impacts that have happened that we've seen as a school district when the closure of San Juan Generating happened. And so it's not only just through data that we found these discrepancies, but our homelessness rate has shot up to 700%. And families are divided. Parents are working elsewhere, out of state. And as you heard, a lot of displaced who were fortunate enough to have come over to Navajo Mine site to work and stay in the area. And so, as a school board official, we're still trying to maintain not only our students, but as a employer on the reservation, and which is a large employer, and keeping our teachers and our qualified administrators locally and employed, we have to juggle those issues. And so there's and when I looked at your survey and was filling that out, it doesn't mention schools, and it should. And I think as I've traveled to other conferences, National Congress of American Indian, NEIA, that's one thing that we forget, and we all talk about up here. We talk about ourselves and all of this, but we forget our youth and the students and the schools that it impacts, because these businesses, this economic growth, it impacts our schools.
Sure.
And then one thing that I found is, and I ask that you take it upon yourselves to read the Kennedy Report, which was created and established in 1969. Just reading that first paragraph, we have not grown as a tribe, as a nation, and it's sad. So with that, and I just wanted to add too that we have had a lady, Emma Yazzie, that had lived in our vicinity of the mining, and she lived to be 102 years old. And nobody remembers that when we talk about emissions and things like that. So I support, and I know this is divisive. I know it can be cruel, but you guys have the backbone for it. Thank you.
I thank you, Christina, for those public comments. Next, we will go to Lucinda. I guess still Billy. It's Billy Boone.
Good morning. My name is Lucinda Kitoli Boyd, and I'm a class chief for the community chief of Division Chief for Community. Thank you for allowing me to speak on behalf of my work and myself. I've been a coal miner for 27 years. I'm also a farmer. I became a recent official for Herpino chapter. My late brother, Larry Bonnie, was the community relation coordinator for Herpino, and he used to tease me a lot and tell me, a lot of our older people are getting older. You need to come and learn how to be an official. And I used to just laugh about it. And I was like, "Ooh, it's going to take me seriously." But here I am today. I'm a vice president, and also I'm a 4-H leader. So with this job, I was able, as a single mother, I was able to put all 4 of my kids through college. I just recently had my oldest son and my youngest daughter graduate from New Mexico State. My oldest son is in New Jersey. He's working out there, and then my youngest daughter is here working with me. And I'm very fortunate that I had this opportunity when I first came on board with, back then it was Utah International. I just saw myself coming in, doing a project and leaving. I didn't see a career. But fortunately, they kept me on and I stayed on, and lo and behold, I've been here for 27 years. And with that, I'm the 3rd generation. My grandpa worked here, my dad worked here, and now I'm here. So with that, the income has allowed me to put a roof over my kids, send them to school, help them get an education. I'm able to help my dad with buying farm equipment. And we have about 15 acres of farmland that we do. And we go out and as far as to the city, Delcon, Chinle, Render Rock, and we sell our produce. And we see a lot of the native people, you know, thanking us, a lot of the elderly thanking us, thank you for continuing to produce these products, you know, because a lot of them, you see a lot of farmland not being utilized, and the reason being is because they can't afford the equipment costs a lot of money. So with that being said, I'm very fortunate that I have that opportunity to help my dad buy the equipment, and they're not cheap. I mean, they're, you know, when we're thinking about buying a tractor, you're looking at, you know, 50,000, 60,000, that's a lot of money, you know, and I help my dad pay half of that. And then the other thing, you know, extended family, you know, I have 3 aunties that are of the age of 80, you know, they lost their husband. So every month I kind of help them, send them money and stuff. And then I'm very fortunate with my job and, you know, the health insurance we got. Back in 2015, my son crushed his hand. We were splitting blood, and, you know, because I've always taught my kids to wear their PPE. He was wearing his glove, his insulated glove, and he crushed his hand. So we had to rush him to San Juan Regional. By the time we got done, his medical bill was $1.5 million, 9 surgeries. And all I had to pay was $1,000 out of my pocket. So I was very fortunate that we had good insurance. And then I enjoy our chapter. I try to get our chapter to utilize the community funding that we have here. I have been giving money to United Way, and I enjoy helping out with the sponsor of the barbecue, where we feed all the people there, just seeing all those Navajo people getting a really nice meal. And then I myself put myself back to school. I got my bachelor's, and then I also got my master. And then this fall, I'm going to start on my PhD. So I'm very fortunate that this job has provided me the income that it has. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
And next we do have Emily and my Kitsili boy. Oh.
Good morning. My name is Emily Kitsoboy. Yagda Shikne Shikne She Emily Kitsoboy Yedesha Glashi Nishne Putali Bashichi Borchi Dashi Kor from Tashinali. As I stand here in front of the Navajo Nation Council and you, I can proudly say I'm a 4th generation farmer. I am a daughter of a coal miner. My Che and my mom have worked for the coal industry. They have put me and my 3 siblings through college. I've received the intake scholarship for 3 years. It's currently known as Empowering Future Leaders. I graduated from New Mexico State University this May in agriculture, economics, and agriculture business with a concentration in natural resource and finance. I am currently an intern for InTech as an environmentalist. I've seen firsthand the experience that most of you guys probably will never see, but I am here to stand in front of you that Reclamation and the environmental department has done an amazing job from when I first interned here in 2023 as an environmentalist to now 2025. It's changed so much in how much is used, and they're able to create a land that's put back into a better land for grazing purposes. A lot of us, we herd sheep, we have cows, we have livestock. I mean, I grew up in 4-H, and so InTech has been a proud sponsor for a lot of different organizations, groups, and especially for the youth. They have programs that involve K through 12 along with their scholarship. And I am here to tell you that I have made a difference from InTech as a young generation, as I'm 22 years old. And with this support of with America's Beautiful Clean Coal Industry and amending Executive Order 14241, I support it, and I hope that you guys put into consideration me as a 22-year-old. I just want to say thank you for letting me come up here, have a voice for myself. I just want to say yeah.
Oh, thank you, Treasurer Emily, for providing that statement. And also want to recognize that Council Delegate and former Speaker Lorenzo Bates. Chanel, nice to see you here. And also for announcement purposes, if you were signing up to speak, to turn in your form, if you haven't completed it yet, back sign-in sheet. So we'll keep going with our participant list here. Next, we do have Lander Morris.
Good morning, Yate Bennett. Sherry Lander Morrison, shout out, I'm Sean Papa, especially that's a Chaytwana, that's another. I want to first thank y'all for coming over, spend some time to hear the public forum and all that we have to share with everyone. I am from the community of Nash City, New Mexico. Around here, the coal industry plays a big role. It brings hope by creating jobs, driving economic growth, and providing energy resources that power our homes and businesses. As someone new to the company and the industry, one of the first things that stood out to me was how the land was being renewed, as a lot of folks are saying here today. It's impressive to see the areas that were once considered unusable land being reclaimed and revegetated into land that can serve a new purpose. Another thing that I noticed is the focus on training, giving people the skills to work as electricians, heavy equipment operators, mechanics, and other trades related to natural resource and technology. It's creating real opportunities for people to build solid careers. Navajo Mine is in a prime location with valuable and well-managed resources. The setup we have, the mine right next to the power plant, is pretty unique because it makes for a smart, efficient operation. From what I've seen, this mine to plant model can serve as a great example for the nation, especially if we continue working closely with the government partners to keep improving and adapting the industry in a positive direction. Industries are always evolving, and in my current field, information technology, we know all about adapting to change and keeping things running. I see that same need for flexibility and forward thinking in mining. Even though my career is in tech, my heart has always been in farming and ranching. That's why it's been so meaningful for me to see how Navajo Mine land reclamation efforts are actually restoring land that's perfect for agriculture. I'd love to see more of that renewed land made available to young guys and recently graduated, our little kids. Young people who want to get into farming and ranching. Maybe even start a farm to table, ranch to table initiatives that could benefit our whole community. Health is important, and with the reclamation work being done, we have a real chance to create opportunities for the next generation. To give them a hope and a reason to stay connected to the land and our way of life. Lastly, I'd like to ask that our leaders to support the executive order. You have many folks here that have different strengths and different passions. And I see that if we combine that with loving God and loving others, we can all put a point on the scoreboard. That's right there. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Appreciate you. Have a good day.
Thank you, Mr. Morris. And next we do have Kristen Billy.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I just they're okay, not sure really, but locally married to Nenahnezad area. And my client is Crane Show, which is TV, which is key. That's as far as I know with it, but then I just wanted to support this truck signing, and I've been with the company, Navajo Mine, for 35 years. And it's helped build my family with education, and it's helping me build my future, my retirement. It's really important to me, and also the people that's for the next generation, the people that's our younger generation, which I'm really encouraging to help try to help them out, and also it's helped my family through education and economy. How the economy is, it's helped the local resource and the community and the county. So a lot of that donation and all that, it's helped people even on the reservation. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Billy. And next we do have Marie Shaw. Please, yeah, cool. Please, yeah, cool. Oh, Marie?
Actually, yeah. You have to move all the.
Okay, Jerry Marie is that one share. Although Chisholm the mansion, you're not looking at, I should say. Oh, I'm an educated, my dishes, I shall never go for the G. Late, Jean, don't know what to go. Are they to educate, they're thinking that the lady, she has other. That all in the heart, I see that I want you not on, but yeah. Don, perhaps the door, as they made it their business after they are straight up. Or بعد بعضتين بأي شيء أو أشقى لكن بالشرب بالشمي الشيء يمكن نوم وتبقى إشلاء ما تقولته لكن مني هو ده يا بقى مشوا هذا أيه بالشيء اللي بعد ما مشى هذا كيف إشلاته هذا كذا خده يعني ما مشكلة كده بعد أيه بعد كده أنا ما تسوي ما تبغى هذا أيه شيء شيء ما تيجي ما يفضل ما مش يا تاي الدنيا ويا تاي بس ويا تاي afternoon, I also told them, but she that go home, she man, Coco, easy a union, but the chance to go start. I don't do this, I share the much echo, the she, the أنا خدا من المشنة بعده أهله تطور تسطاوه وديش شين بالنشر فبعدها نعرفه وإيه زي بنادين كل سبيل هذا ماشي أنا labor budget operation they are not she don't she of cost about things Ade şarkının o şiarcı şey Mahatçının o sakini nerede onlarmış Anana bakıyordu Gerçekten yıllardan oldu Nanmışlar Esin dokaz Ay poçi doğu Epedo ina Eksoni ela Egaşında 61 years şinafay Canım o şahane Yıllardı doğu Şiarcı The Washington in a Thursday baby Nika. Not only the solution that the last off the Johnson that she will get that's all another hope. And then send off a son in lead over the Nika. They los cafés. Christine, haven't saw it in the café. Yeah, a lot of vision. Now, I want to honor Hadashi, Nanishabodor, turning on screens of chaos. Alone, another piece. Las machine of the living. Don't like that. One living at it. To say not at all. To go back into the community. Actually, I had a session. I can't pay on the stuff. And not yet make the picture later for the. You can't stop, but then they that regions of the side national. I become such an answer. This stuff. I can't consortium partner. I want to always have the nation and the oil. To hospital with Agona.
Okay, so the Kuna Banaso, he Shaylin Hickory. Okay, good morning, Speaker Curley, Navajo Nation Council. My name is Shaylin Perry. I started back in 2009 with VHP. I was a contractor, and with that, we did the irrigation for Navajo Mine and San Juan Mine, La Plata Mine. There, it at the time seemed like a job. It was, oh, I got paid. And as the week went on, learning from my mentors every day what we were doing, kind of put me in a perspective of I'm doing good. I'm doing good with the environment. The things we did as far as silt fence, controlling our water, not taking it off leaves, soil sampling, we would go in, make sure the ground wasn't contaminated, get anything's approved, moving on with the seeding crew. Seeding crew was with Navajo Mine, but our contractor came in and would lay pipe in the hot sun. We get into irrigation after that. But like I said, every day seemed brutal in the sun, laying out hot pipe. But mentors that we had before us were encouraging, telling us drink water, hey, wear your shades and stay cool. We learned through that, and next thing you know, we're laying pipe, we finished pots, we call them pots. And we did get an opportunity to get they're hiring for BHP. We put in our applications, we weren't sure how it was gonna go, and next thing you know, I got hired. BHP took me on in 2016, and before that, seeing the workers at Navajo Mine, our plots were near the haul roads. So when we had our sprinklers running and being the only person in the plot, we wanted to showcase a water display, like they were our audience. We took that advantage to go over there, make sure all our sprinklers were turning, making sure everything was getting full coverage, and seeing the crush trucks drive by and just giving them we didn't know them, and it was cool. Some would haul, they liked the water, and it was cool. It was cool to display that. After getting on in 2016 and being able to see the workers in their environment, even in the changing room, in the hallways, it was like, wow. Guys, I knew of them. I started to learn their names, started to get familiarized with people. But they were highs and byes and have a good day. As we go on with the leadership program within the company, it was, they help you. I'm a lead person for our environmental crew. And with that, there's programs that they give us to go through on teaching others.
how would you want to be teached? How can you improve? What can we do together as a team? How can we make teamwork happen? And with that, I did get a opportunity to work with a safety crew. With the safety crew, it felt like a VIP pass going into everybody's work area. By then, I had learned what Marie does. She's a crush truck driver. I got to ride with her and see what she did in her truck. These trucks are huge. And being able to ride with them, look at the scrapers to see how they scrape their land, how they shape the land, down to end dumps that take from the topsoils. And it started coming together of how much of a teamwork were needed. Moving on to back with environmental, working with our contractors that we have now and showing them that passion of how can we improve on everything we do? We can't just come in and do a lazy job. How can we make things better? So teaching them why you're here, why you're watering the ground, why we're seeding, how much of an importance it is. And being on the plot, watering, I think the coolest thing was, oh man, everybody always told you, you're growing tumbleweeds. No. Thank you, Shaylin. And next we do have Brandon Johnson.
Brandon, before you speak, I'm gonna ask speaker, I've never heard that sound before. So maybe we could incorporate that on the council floor. Thank you.
Thank you, good morning. Share Brandon Hassan, I'm share. Oh, I didn't know how now I'm supposed to see. Here, I was to. No, that's not. Before working for the mine. When I was younger, I'd be seeing how my Nully's my father. Put up a pole. Okay, sorry. Doing that, I never knew one day I'd be working here for the mine. I just been, wow, that's too much work for me when I was young. But after high school, all the other jobs I've been getting laid off, staying home. Finally, one day, got to the oil field business. Same deal. Working out of state, out of town. Just wanted to be home. For a while there, just sitting out of state. Finally, finally woke up to I need to find me work around close to home. So I started looking around, still nothing. Finally got the job and still sitting out of state. Or I stay home with nothing to do. And then finally started having kids. And then before working for the mine, I was contracting, worked there for 4 years. Just like they say, laying down pipe on the plots, working out in the sun. And then got onto the mine, 4 years at the company now, and they taught me a lot. Equipment wise, what we do out there. For a while, I'll be helping out in the shop. Put me here and there. And then for a while, I'll be driving in dumps, loading coal, loading dirt, hauling them off. And then finally I got to revegetating the party. Work everywhere, all over the mine, here and there, help out in places. But I'm glad to be working for the mine, what they do for the company or for the community, Navajo nationwide, and how they've been giving back to the schools. All the funding they do for all these different projects. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon. And next we do have Sheldon Yossi.
Good morning, my name is Sheldon Yazzie, and, I did the red one on the paper, but I'll just come up with it. Well, anyways, my name is Sheldon Yazzie, and good morning to everybody. I just want to say, thankful for working for Intel. Sort of, it's made an impact on my family. To this day, my family is still burning coal to keep their houses warm during the winter. And, when everybody's close to home, they don't have to travel. You just go home from work, take care of your family, take care of your animals, take care of your farm. So, that's basically it. But I read it down on the paper, so thank you for listening.
Next we do have Raven Lee.
Dati mention ka, Madam Speaker. She regularly and she had my issue, not give a chili, but she's too. Actually, that's a cheater, with money, that's a damn good say, our business, like it, not shy, Russian. He had, proposition, um, President Trump signing it, like, yeah, came that's all wrong stuff. Then he, well, I've been a miner for over 31 years in Navajo mine. The Navajo mines contribute a lot to the community and to the Navajo tribe. And thank you to Honorable Bates that his resolution that Navajo tribe bought Navajo mine. And me and my fellow workers and union brothers and sisters lobbied hard for the tribe to get the okay. And now we still got our jobs, not just for us, but for the younger generation. Younger generations to come. People like me are getting ready for retirement. We're going to be handing out our rings to our younger generation, younger kids. With this proposition, they get that chance to get the opportunity we had. To get their kids, our kids, into school and colleges. And not just them, but we do have a lot of volunteer work we do. And the company does do a lot of giving the funds to people like the veterans, like our chapter. They help us do yearly veteran ATV tour. And the company helps them out with that. And there's a KYA here in Berkeley that we sponsor too. And then around the schools, they got little league baseball teams and stuff that they contribute money to. And without them, some of these programs won't be here. So we do a lot of fun that we give out, even the employees they got. They give to United Way, Navajo Way for funds that help out the tribe and run our community. With myself, I found out how that Navajo Way and the United Way works. And my sister's house burnt down one year and they really helped out. They gave me contributions for her motel, food, clothes. They helped her out. So I am in the United Way Navajo Way giver. So if it shuts down, then there's going to be a big impact on the Navajo Nation, our community, our chapters. Because you know that when that Peabody and Black Mesa shut down, a lot of programs shut down. And I do want these programs to keep going. I believe funds and revenues that mine has. So I do like for you guys to support it and keep it going. So I have that. Thank you.
Ado kwagi e draw poorly, panaho to salvation.
Good morning. My name is Jared Corley. Today I speak as a resident of the community, a U.S. Navy veteran, father of four, and a proud employee of Navajo Mine for over 18 years. I started in an entry-level position, as most folks do at a coal mine, and working my way up to management level within the company. And through that journey, coal mining has been more than just a job. It's been a path to provide for my family, build leadership skills, and serve my community with purpose. Coal mining has created opportunities here that are not easily found elsewhere. It has allowed people like me and many others from the Navajo Nation to build stable careers without having to leave home. I've seen it firsthand how these jobs support local families, develop workforce skills, and keep our communities strong. It's about people and it's about future generations being able to work, learn, and thrive right here. I believe we can mine coal responsibly, protect our land, and continue to offer good jobs and training for our people. I'm committed to doing that every day, and I respectfully ask for your continued support of coal mining. Thank you. I support Executive Order 14241. Thank you.
Mr. Corley for those statements. And next we will move on to Shannon Armstrong.
Good morning, Madam Speaker and council members. My name is Shannon Armstrong. I am from Haiti, and I'm here to give my personal testimony. So thank you for letting me speak. I'm also really nervous, so I want to say that I am the third Armstrong in my family to graduate. My mother only finished third grade. I grew up quite poor. It was a really hard life growing up. In my household, college was never talked about. It was not an option. I lived most of my life in a very reactive way. And I was hired onto Intech 8 years ago. And I'm very grateful to work for Intech. I'm very grateful that I was hired. Working for Intech has changed my livelihood. It's changed the way I'm able to support my children. I have 2 children, and working here is allowing me to change the trajectory of how my family grew up. I'm working to put them through college. I'm working to help them grow into productive members of society. We are able to talk about college and talk about the future and talk about being of further education for my children. I worked in the oil field before that for about 11 years. When I was hired onto the mine, I fully expected to see this black and dust. I was very surprised when there was grass. There were a couple of rabbits running around, that we feed, and we have it's a bad stigma. You think it's going to be bad and dirty, and it's not. We have a whole reclamation department. I judged the mine before I made it out there. We have a whole reclamation department that takes the land and makes it better than it was before. We have a slew of engineers who love the land and who love the area, and they work to make it better and to take it back to what it was. It's a privilege to see all of these young minds that are working to bring the land back. Navajo Mine was established in 1963, so for 60 years, it has embedded itself into the community. There's so many programs that are supported by Navajo Mine. The Navajo Nation Fair
barbecue, there's a big impact that they make. I think last year they fed 4,000 people, Navajo Mine along with other companies, APS and them. Navajo Yes is another program. Every year we give out turkeys, hams to community members, to chapter houses. The church program, when you see a lot of elders come through, a lot of people who don't have heating come through and they're helping us out throughout the winter. And on top of that, direct monies that go to the chapters that support a lot of programs that I can't even list off the top of my head. So I just want to say that a lot of people may not support coal, but I think that a lot of people don't realize that they benefit from coal, either directly or indirectly. And if you're wearing polyester is made of coal fibers. And it fuels homes, it does a lot of things that I don't think people realize. Like Scott said, you don't realize what you have to work on. So thank you very much for letting me speak.
Thank you, Shannon, for your statement, and also want to recognize Superintendent from Central Consolidated School District, Mr. Steve Carlson is also here with us. And we also have Assistant Superintendent from Central Consolidated School District, Peter Deswood. Although quite we would like to provide some moments for statements also from former speaker Lorenzo Shana.
I'm gonna put my cat this way so you all know who to cheer for. Dati, speaker and all your staff, and certainly I didn't expect this many folks here to be here this morning, but there's quite a few. Madam Speaker, I'm gonna not, you've heard all that you will continue to hear about jobs and the livelihood of most, if not all, the folks in this room. But I want to pose this question to leadership. In the event Navajo Mine, Arizona Public Service go away, what do we have that will replace the revenue? And the revenue in terms of fossil fuel is up to around $200 million in that area. You see, maybe there's 200 employees here. But that doesn't take into account the other 2,000 to 3,000 that are out there working as we speak, both at the mine and Arizona Public Service. Where are they going to work? I saw the same situation when NGS shut down in Peabody. There was nothing that there was supposedly to be a transition. That transition hasn't happened today. If not all those employees, they've gone to the valley. And the valley benefits from the revenue that they generate and the taxes that are generated. It won't be any different here. You'll see a lot of these folks, if not all, move away because they have to support their families, as you've heard. So the revenue, the jobs, you all get a statement, spreadsheet every month. It shows where the nation is. And you all know what that revenue generates in terms of investment dollars. You take away that up to $200 million. That reduces that money that would otherwise be earning interest. That goes away. You have 100 years ish of a reserve. Do we let that sit in the ground and not provide jobs, not provide revenue? It's sitting in the ground as a result of NGS and Peabody. Can the nation afford all of that? The first thing, as I said right at the beginning, was what's going to replace the revenue and the jobs that are lost? Can the nation afford losing the revenue that's generated? It goes to the general fund. What happens to that reservoir? What happens to that 22,000-ish acre feet of water that is allowed to be pulled from the San Juan with the purpose of the power plant? That most likely, in my opinion, I could be wrong, but it'll go back to the state. And that water will be used in Arizona or stored in the dams down south. You lose that. So those are things that come to my mind for the future. And I'm talking on behalf of the miners in this room, but I'm also talking from the perspective of the Navajo Nation as a whole. If this particular mine provides, you don't have it again with APS or NGS and Peabody. That's gone. It's never coming back. This morning, I read on Facebook. When you retire, I get all my news from Facebook. All right. I mean, I know everything on Facebook. So when I'm changing water or on the tractor, I was cutting hay this week, and I was on Swather, and I parked under the shade. What did I do? I pulled out my phone and I read Facebook. All right. So this morning I read that in Canada, there was a coal company, our company, that shut down. And they decided, we don't care, in their words, we don't care what the feds are saying. We're starting this mine back up. And maybe they can afford it. But lastly, if APS, Navajo mine go away, and you realize that it was not the right decision, and the nation afford to bring it back online. So with that, Madam Speaker, thank you. Honorable members of the Navajo Nation Council ahead. And thank you for all the folks. My name's not on the list, so I thought I'd get moved. So appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, Chanel, so it's good to have our leadership here with us this afternoon, though the so thank you again, Speaker Bates. The Quaking, when you change Zito, late out in now the bubbles into hot in the air, when it's all the initiative to the enhanced hot to base on your hand, each a hate at the business. No hot see, call Yashina, put on the Jenny see 도 그것이 아마스 나홀지스토데 아마 엔 키시 에타샤 코 아도나 DTP haljen en hanaho for public comments so there. Do kunepana so he a Matt Brown. Matt Brown?
Madam Speaker, thank you once again for giving us this opportunity to be able to come up and speak. A lot of what I want to say echoes a lot of what Mr. Bates, has to say, because I was directly impacted myself from where I'm originally from. So a little bit about what I want to talk about. One, first and foremost, I want to preserve the jobs and opportunities that's at the Navajo Mine, Four Corners Power Plant, and throughout all of Impact. I support that wholly. But I'm from Alabama originally. I've been at the Navajo Mine now for 3 years. But I've seen the impact of what happens when mines close and the impacts to communities directly. I was directly affected by it myself. I'm a fourth generation coal miner. My grandfather, great grandfather, my father, my uncles, my brothers, they were all coal miners. It's all that I've ever known. That's what I was raised and supported by my family did, coal mining. 2016, the coal mine shut down in that area. The community of where I'm from, where I thought that I would raise my children, where my grandchildren would be, was devastated by the impact of the mines closing. Because just like Mr. Bates said, it's much more than just all of our fellow people working here. It's everything else that supports the mines that goes along with it. The community, my hometown, the towns surrounding my hometown, all was developed and supported by mining in some form or fashion. When those mines closed, the jobs left. Vendors ended up having to lose a lot of their businesses, and many people, including myself, in order to find stable work, had to relocate. So I had to leave my extended family, my mother, father, the rest of my family, to try to find some way to support my immediate family. So I've moved across the South to work at mines in Mississippi, Florida, Louisiana, before coming to New Mexico, working here at the Navajo Mine. But I got to a point in my life, as I've expressed with many of my coworkers here, that I needed purpose in my life. And the purpose that I found was most of it sitting in this room right now. I knew the impact of what happened in my hometown. And I couldn't bear the fact, once I started researching the Navajo Nation, the Navajo Mine, how much it funds, how much it supports the Navajo Nation. These members of the community, all of my coworkers. We have over 360 workers at the mine, so over 500, including the group that's at the Four Corners Power Plant, and countless other businesses, vendors, and other support groups that support the mine. And I couldn't bear the fact of thinking that if it was to come to a point where it was going to close, how much that was not only going to impact the people that sat in this room, but the community as a whole in the Navajo Nation. Just as Mr. Bates said, there's a tremendous amount of revenue that's generated from this mine that helps support a lot or a big portion of the Navajo Nation's general fund. And if it was to close, if there was to be something happen, if Intake doesn't step up and continue to do what they're doing right now to try to keep things rolling way past what APS claims that they want to shut the power plant down in 2031, it's going to be devastating for the Navajo Nation. I have witnessed it firsthand. I can't bear that fact. So I'm here to support the mine, support everybody that's sitting in this room right now, and I'll do my best to continue to let the mine extend way beyond 2031 and for 100 years if it's possible. Thank you for this opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. And next we do have Ed Silver Hatband.
야티 시키시드네 아로시난타 에나이소타니 시키스샤네데 멘시 Şini başı şin. Tori kozi başı çi. Aşkan zora şinal. Zeki çini. Bagade. Force koydu. Hadi nakşi. Şakanda onun daha. İbari ko. Bunda aşınış. Adoğu. Hadi. Şıprakı keşti. Ado şikeşinden ade. Naiso tani. Tayo. Arkada hanımızın taşınmış. PHP. San Juan Mine. Westmoreland. Adı nasıl so? Nasıl? 2019 yıldan retired işte. Adı Peabody'de dans nakli. Adı nasıl so? Geçin ki tekho geçin so. 1977 yıldan bedaşı. Ağzı geçin yıldan çizina nabi. İddia edo. Doğru adam ki doğru neydi? PPE da hatta bu da denida ado de chimba e hanote ado bat so ela chidi will not ishini. I had some real serious health problem. It affected my lung. I was diagnosed with pneumoconiosis, pulmonary fibrosis. So lung be scarring tissue. So you out alan so naso zero Padilla. You have to do a double lung transplant. Tashila. What's going on here? Shabanafin, Shaban Sakit. Ado Shinanta, Levan Sotra. Shed, Dotaje Saza, Goyat Eta. Anni, Besa Repahanda. Anni, what? Joe Conde. Tasho Kish, Pechin. Village. Eta show Kish. Ah, which Ketaitsi. Govada Ichida. Harchin da Neste. Protodosti Ohaza. Ado executive order, Yabaka, clean code,
Yeah.
there is no such thing as clean code.
Yeah.
I don't think, Donald Trump, they, I don't know, it is kids, I think they don't know what code is. The code is
Yeah.
black language orthodoxy, Sheila. Although the thing is, it comes with medical luck. So, man, think that lush, also, basically, Kadio showed up, Bowens, people join now, who called the Bowens music with bells. But they don't education in there. I literally told it. I'm still recovering out ahead of it.
Cash. Auto Kunebana Sogi A. Anthony Simpson donation.
Hear me? Yeah, okay. Hello, my name is Anthony Simpson. From Herfno chapter, 22 Inch, touching Bashchi, the Tani Desha, Chiche, and Nashache Chanela. I am a contractor who works out at Navajo Mine, APS, NAPI, Westmoreland. And what we do for a living is we provide service for the mine. Our biggest thing that we do is support the mine in their reclamation efforts. And through that, we employ a total with all the companies that we have. We employ 62 people. Let's say 99.9% Navajo. So I hear Carrie, she knows what I'm talking about. So being a proud Navajo myself, I want to support the younger generation to learn the craft. I'm a welder by trade, and it's gotten me this far. We've been in business for 19 years. And myself, my wife Roxanne, we own 3 companies. We own Norwest, Lucky Ridge, and On3 Dyno. 2 service companies and 1 automotive repair shop. I'm just a kid from the res, grew up like a lot of you. No running water, no electricity at times, no college, but anything is possible. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to work for Intech. We started out with PHP, then it went to North American Coal, now it's Intech. And I really appreciate the support that they're giving us. And I'm here to speak in support of Executive Order 14241. It not only provides jobs, but it provides our employees with a sense of having something to do. And I think that's a big burden that we're having with our younger generation now, is that, especially on reservations, they don't have anything to do. And we don't have anything to do, we tend to get in trouble. So that's what I try to provide a place for them to make a good living and start a career. A majority of our staff all start as laborers, and they work their way up to operators, foremen, lead person, and eventually superintendents with our organization. And a lot of our guys, quite a few of the guys are here, they end up getting hired on with Intech, with the mine, which I'm really grateful for because it's a really great opportunity locally. So a lot of things that we participate in with the mine is we do the reclamation work, like I said before, and we also participate in another one of the programs. It's called CHIRP, where our crew, our company goes in there, screens coal for the community and stack them up, and then we load them for the community members. So all the posts you see about people loading loading coal for the community, that's our crews doing that. Yeah, that's something I take a lot of pride in. The other thing we take part in with the Intech is the veterans organizations. So we recently helped with the host in Shiprock. We assembled a fence for them, and unfortunately, somebody vandalized that place, and that's just out of our control. But we'll do what we can to help them demo that building and get them a new building. So we're going to do our best to help the veterans as well. And things that our employees really benefit from this job is, for one, a well-paying job, and it's a reason to get up in the morning, and a place to earn, a place to learn and advance. And I think taking this away would be a big mistake for the local community, and not just for me as a vendor, but for the local community and all the good things that the mine does for the community. Like I said, we have 62 employees. Of those 62 employees, each household supports an average of 5 people. So that's over 300 people that my little company supports. So, and like I said, one thing I really take pride in is we're 100%, 99.9% Navajo. So, so I speak on behalf of this order, and I support it, and I would appreciate if you guys would support it as well. We do well, it's doing well for the Navajo Nation. It's one of the entities that doesn't need no money from you guys. They're giving you guys money. So I would really urge you to keep that going. It's the technology that's there today is far advanced than it was in the past. Coal's always got a bad rap. And coal mines have always been told to be dirty and messy. I encourage you to come out and see this mine, especially the work that we do on the reclamation side. We basically turn badlands into grasslands, so thank you.
Thank you, Anthony, for your statements. And next we will move on to Cave Name Mark.
So Sheikh Ahadaz Bot named Martin She he Anin Slump Lagana Pashishi Totani Adash Che Do Cherokee Adashan Tayet Chayano Ye I see the Nasha Shamato Shija Tahotoid Navnish Baal Kapniye 30 something years. Audrey 45 so you Shijado Shamabanson Shamash Shisi Kick at 90 years old and it's one of my greatest joys. Sorry
Statement.
to have my mom stay with me and for me to be the one helping her now. That's what we all live for, to be able to take care of our parents. And I'm so thankful I get to do that. I have the kind of job that is not an everyday go sit at your office or get in a truck and drive around kind of job. I have one of those jobs that changes from the morning to the evening, from the Monday to the Friday, depending on what's going on in the community. I'm a community engagement specialist. So many of the programs that I do benefit all the Navajo people that we work with. When I first started working in this company and in this area, it was 14 years ago. And the money that was made and generated and the programs, all the stuff went to Australia with the old company. So now when I go out there and I talk to the Navajo people and I talk to the people that I work with, I get to tell them this money stays here. All the money and the revenue that we generate, it goes back to the Navajo people. And I'm so proud of that. After all the different logos that I took off and put back on, I'm so proud to get to say that. I've been going to all the chapters sharing the information about our NAV Energy Hub. And that NAV Energy Hub is what's going to transition into clean coal, clean energy. And that's where we need to go. We all know that. But right now, coal is still needed. You have to have that as the stabilizer in our energy. The community coal program, the one where we give all the coal out, we had 9,000 people come to Navajo Mine for coal. We also truck coal to chapters that want it. We work with our scholarship students. We have interns that we hire every summer to come get job experience. We're always looking for opportunities to try to expand and teach our youth. The one program that I'm probably the most proud of is our United Way campaign. At Navajo Mine, we run a United Way campaign and our employees sign up to donate out of their own paychecks to give to San Juan United Way or Navajo United Way. We have over 120 employees who do at least one-time leadership give $1,000 a year. And the most important thing about this is the company matches it every dollar. Last year, we raised over $200,000 and the company matched that same contribution. And that's from the pockets of all these people sitting here in this room. When you go to Navajo United Way, 60% of their money that they get comes from Navajo Mine employees and the company. When you come to San Juan United Way, 30 to 45% comes from us in a given year. So our employees are also behind a lot of the community programs that we do. They volunteer to serve food. They volunteer for Day of Caring. They volunteer when it's time to go out and help in the community. It's amazing to me when go into my meetings and I start talking to them about what we're doing and what's coming next. And it's really exciting to see the passion behind the people that work at the mine. I was a teacher, and as a teacher, I come in here and I feel like it's so important to take those things that I learned and pass it down. I have two ladies now that I'm teaching to do what we do, and I hope when I'm ready to retire, which is soon, that they'll be there to help carry these programs on into the future of Navajo Mine and NTech. Thank you very much.
Go ahead. And at this time, I'd also like to introduce a representative from Ledger Fernandez's office. We do have Cal Curley, who is also representing the representative's office too as well. Yeah, thank you for coming. Ado all the way from Western Agency, Kudoshima, Council Delegate Nenahnezad. I'll allow her to introduce herself. Shema.
Oh, Yate Shikeda Shidne, Shayam, Delegate Alina Nesbigay. What a cheating saw it was a fun of us stream, not hiding it, that's a cheater, not every top on her, eight a shinale. But our is son, Amato, and my son got another machine or extra politician there. I don't under a by the way, that chapter, the copper mine, the Chi Kaibito, and Tanalia chapters, Eba Bishasa and put out a and Haniado, we put out a Bayata Hide from Kido. We had our Navajo generating station that pulled in pulled from Peabody, but ours is gone now. So Ebony Naka and keep we thinking so in Haniado he has.
Thank you for being here with us. Ado Nana Ade Nahano Yahagi Ado Hade no Seno Ede Kata Initiative A Arjababa Gosh A Arjum Kish Fish Ado Not Sauce A They Sleep no Seno Go So A Young Hoti Ado Resolution Do Di Not So Faida Not So Kai Shagi A Yanos also event so at this time, we are collecting both verbal, the survey, and also written comments. So if you do have it in written form, make sure to visit our staff at the sign-up table. And again, we will move forward with our participant listing here. And next, we do have Albert Nelson Jr.
Good morning, Madam Speaker, hello, council delegates, our leaders, thank you very much. Shea Albert Nelson Jr. What the change look at my buses cheap, only to say, Funny doesn't know about the lunch circle. You can see in the way to the next year, right now, sir. Came to Arizona. Out of Korea, cast in Farmington. I don't know, so Navajo Mine, I just not we. 35 years this stuff. From the time I graduated from Utah Technical College back in 1977. It took me 13 years to find this job. Finally, I found it. I never gave up as being a welder. So whatever you do, whatever you're striving for, don't give up. I really like my job. I'll be going to work thinking, what I'm going to do today? What am I going to put together today? And so shout out. And then this opens that through the Yashmona. But I don't do that. I always stay positive when I go to work. like to meet people without an understanding. And what I learned from my job, a lot of safety stuff that I use at work and at home. With other boys, and I was on the mine rescue team too. Because my kids were small, just in case should something happened to them or anybody. I learned how to go from first aid to first responder. Without you understand, medical. Cold. I always say cold will never go away. Is that the data section? Some share quinson. Me, hello. But there is a way of going around it because we don't. So yeah, they always say because it's not the children's bahano. I don't call respirators, so there's ways of doing it. Whatever we do out in life, there's always a negative side and there's always a positive side. Without echo, it depends on you how you're going to utilize it. Actually, so going over that, when you're going down the road, it's like that. It's your choice. You have to make those decisions yourself. Going from one point A to point B, the corner. With echo. I don't call the I'm hoping the company would come up with the apprenticeship program again. An electrician and diesel mechanic, not a worker, but the whole year. Some of us are up there in the ages where pretty soon we're going to have retirement, which is the highest. A lot of new young ones, not of issues. I'd like them to have an apprenticeship program. If you not put the end there, but I can't, I know United Way, though. I'm in the United Way, above 1,000. Through my grandfather, Samuel Tom Holliday. He was a Navajo code talker. Excuse me. Even I put money in that Navajo Code Talker Foundation. And there's other different organizations that we help out in that way without the economy, Jahako. And then we help our kids with education, traveling. Maybe they need some clothes, maybe they need some uniforms. Without the economy, organization, I'm getting, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson. And then next we will move on to Dr. Parma Plough. Oh, yeah, the honorable members of the council, Shanata Ganafiniki, Ika, Konika Funafo, and Konjish, Shavits at the Shino, Kikichi, Vashin, Kia Ani Dashachedo, Vashi Dashanam, Patmazeda, Elanja Dasadagi, Ashanan, Shinsan, Kozal, Kojish, and chapter 8, Elana Shah. The call has only hit your. Thank you for this opportunity to speak today as we consider the implications of the federal efforts to revitalize the coal industry and what it means for our nation. As Diné, we have a long and complex relationship with energy development. For nearly a century, our lands have provided coal, oil, and gas as our industry out in Anna. Resources that have filled the Navajo Nation government and brought electricity to distant cities, while many of our own have gone and remained in the dark. The Greater Anna oil field alone has generated over 40% of the nation's total revenues. It helped to build the governmental institutions,
fund services, and sustain decades of operations all across the Nenahnezad. As I'm thinking about it, it's really nice to be sitting in a cool building, right? And thinking about how much energy that takes. As we hear proposals to bring coal back into economic favor, we must ask ourselves not just what is possible, but what is right. What is sustainable and what aligns with our Dene values and our long-term goals as a sovereign nation. Our ancestors taught us that everything in life is part of a balance. It's up to us to maintain that balance, not in only how we live with one another, but in how we live with the earth. Nenahnezad. Natural resources extraction is not foreign to us, it's part of our history. And we've always had a reciprocal relationship with nature. So the question is, for whose benefit, under whose terms, and with what safeguards? For me as an Aneth resident, those are really important questions for me. We must begin to move away from the models that treat us as passive recipients of royalties. Instead, assert our full role as full owners and decision makers in these decisions and practices. For too long, we've accepted agreements from outsiders who extract our minerals, including the wealth from our land, and we're left with the environmental damage, health crises, and just a fraction of the profit. So let me be clear in saying that sovereignty is more than just a political recognition. It's also an economic power. We cannot claim to be sovereign if we continue to let others operate and profit from our resources while we receive only a sliver of the return. Sovereignty must mean self-determination over the resources of our lands. So this moment to me presents us a choice. Some want to revitalize, some want to extend. Others see a future in renewables and technologies. But for us, the question is not coal versus solar or wind. It's how, as Dene, we choose to engage within our land on our terms. And this is where our philosophy is, where the strength and clarity in thinking about this comes from. Land is not just a commodity. It is a relative. Nenahnezad is not a metaphor. It's a truth. We do not extract without ceremony, without intention, without accountability. We are finally at the point as Dene where we can assert that choice. We are not anti-development. We are pro-balance. We can be resource protectors and resource developers. It's not a contradiction. It's a necessity. We must stop negotiating from a position of scarcity. We're not poor. We're so rich in so many things. We're underclaimed. The land and the wealth beneath us, the way that we manage it must be on our terms. So let us recognize the need for a deliberate and just energy transition. Like many of our fields, Anna are in decline. It's irresponsible to pretend that we can sustain a nation indefinitely on resources that are fading. And it would be unjust to abandon the communities that endure the burdens of extraction without reinvesting in them. This transition must be community informed, sovereignty driven, and culturally grounded.
Thank you, Dr. Paul, for those statements. And next we do have Dana Benali.
Hello, Yate Shea Donna Benali Ship. I reside in Fruitland, New Mexico. I change my total chili versus chin Kia on the Shiche. Papa Dashinella could out a star, a mother of my son and chef. I'd like to take a few minutes to share something that means a lot to me. My experience working at Navajo Transitional Energy Company, Navajo Mining, and how it impacted my wife and my family.
From the moment I started, I felt welcome. The atmosphere is like family, supportive, encouraging, and respectful. That environment made me want to do better, work harder, and grow both professionally and personally. Because of this job, I had the chance to return to school. I'm currently working towards my bachelor's degree in business administration. It hasn't been easy balancing full-time work, full-time student, and being a wife, mother, and grandmother. But I've stayed focused because my motivation is my family. In 2018, I became the first in my family to graduate from college, earning my associate's degree in office administration. That was a huge moment for me. It showed me that with determination and supportive, anything is possible. Now I see the same determination in my daughters. Thanks to the steady income from my job, I've been able to support their education too. My second oldest will be graduating from Carrington College, receiving her associate's degree in nursing. And my youngest has just started her first year at Salmon College. I'm so proud of them. This job has given me more than just a paycheck. It's given me the ability to provide for my family, to raise my grandchildren in a stable home, and to be an example of what's impossible when you work hard and believe in yourself. So when I say I love my job, I mean it because it helped me break cycles, build the future, and give my children the opportunities they deserve. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Finale. And next we do have Udell Ellison.
Good morning, Speaker and Council. Thank you for listening to us today here. My name is Udell Ellison. I'm from Red Mesa, Utah. And I'm the pastor for Time Has Come Ministry Church. And I've been working here with the Intech or the mine for over 30 years. And we have over about 400 people, or even with the contractors working with Intech here on the mine site. Also, our people here, they give to United Way, Helping Way, United Way, and Navajo Way that they give to. And we want to keep that going. And I think that this mine has a good opportunity for our future. And not only for us as employees for our future, but the whole nation of Navajo Nation. See, we supply the coal to our people all the way across the reservation. They come from all different places. And this is the only one that I know that still gives free coal to our Navajo people. And that's the energy that we learned when I grew up, that we use coal for heating and woods that we use. But also, and it gives the financially support or owning the Navajo tribe owning this mine and will be a power plant too. And financially, it goes back to the people. And I like to see that keep that going for our people. In my lifetime, I know that they have winds and solar system for energy. I remember when I was a kid, we had windmills, and the windmills all don't work if we don't have winds. And I remember when we had cattle, horses, and sheep, and when there's no wind, we're out of luck because we didn't have electricity too. But that's where I know that windmill can't always work because I have power solar system at my home, and I know that when this winter that when there's no sun coming up, all the powers that I had that don't work no more. But I believe that coal can be sufficient as the yearly that we know how, and also that I believe that a long time ago, back in the 1800s, when these treaties were made, we as the Navajo people only allowed to have 18 inches of ground to be used for agriculture and for a lot of stuff. But I know right now, to this day, as a Navajo mine, we're going under, way deep under for minerals that we can use on our reservation. I think that we have that sources and that opening for our future Navajo Nation is a good idea. I think that's why I stand behind this executive order. And also, that we can sell these coal all the way across around the world too, because a lot of those things are being shipped out. And I think that this, I believe that this, coal mine and the power plant can come back for the future. I believe that those other things that come out, they're all temporary. It's good, but I believe that this power plant can survive because we're a sovereign nation. I believe that I can count on you guys. You guys came out to listen to us and to trust you. And I think that I believe that and trust you that this thing can make it happen. And I believe in you that these executive orders that are here in front of us is just by chance we have. The only chance we have with Blue Nygard and our President Trump put this before, giving it back to us. They believe that we can do something about it. That he counts on you to do something about it, and I believe that too. And I feel that this is where our Navajo people have hope in. So I believe that we can, you came out to listen to us, and we respect that. To our leaders to come in and sit before us and look into your eyes and to be on one-on-one with you. I know there's a lot of lies and a lot of media tells different story, but I know better than that. We hear from each other. I respect that in the term that we can have that relationship. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ellison. And next we do have Lucinda Yellowman Benali.
Good morning, honorable council delegates. Thank you and welcome to Nenahnezad chapter. This is Nenahnezad chapter right here. I am Lucinda Yellowman Benali, Toye Cleaning Short Kanesani, Bashishine, Eshine Eda Chaneligo, Lizachi the Shiche. Lizachi Tachino. Okut Ae, Enti the Shnidole. I am the past president of this chapter, also having served as secretary treasurer and vice president. And I am a retired educator, having retired from Central School District after almost 30 years as a secondary school counselor. I just wanted to remind you to let you know that Nenahnezad chapter was certified as a Navajo Nation chapter back in November 10, 1955. And since then, we've had 9 council delegates, and the first one being Chanales Suida Janine Hastin Yellowman. And we've had 9 delegates since then, and presently with our honorable council delegate, Vicky Nez. Nenahnezad is a very interesting chapter. We have our irrigation system, but most importantly, today I want to let you know that back in 1953 is when the Utah Construction Company obtained a permit from Navajo Nation to prospect for coal. However, even before then, we had 2 coal mines here in the area that was operated by our community members. John Russell Ogende Nietzsche, he had a coal mine that mined coal from under this area, and the entrance was right by the river here on the north side of the chapter. Then up here where area 1 begins was Bigay. He had a coal mine up there. And these 2 gentlemen were providing coal to our community and surrounding communities way back then.
So back in 57, the lease was finally approved to go ahead and mine the 24,000 acres back then. And then in 1960 was when APS and Utah Construction Company started the Four Corners Power Plant. So back in 2001 is when BHP Billiton came into being, and then in 2013, NTEC was created. And there were 54 permits that were bought out completely or partially for NAPI development and Upper Fruitland and Nenahnezad. And the compensation for each of these permits wasn't even equal to the purchase rate outside of the Navajo Nation. And I wanted to remind you that, and Ricky has heard me sing the same old song, that Nenahnezad chapter is the most impacted Navajo Nation chapter because of all the energy development. We have to the east, the NAPI, Navajo Agricultural Products Industry, and to the south, from up on the hill, all the way to Burnham, and beyond by Navajo Mine. And then to the west, we have the power plant. And that leaves us very little land for community development, for home sites, for children, grandchildren. And that's how we are so impacted. There are still 41 grazing permits that are active today. And back in the day, we had the Chenalian and all the others had 100+ heads of sheep that they herded up there on the area. And I wanted to also remind you that, of course, through all this development, the Nenahnezad chapter has received not a penny directly. However, through the relinquishment of their permits, they contributed 50 million plus to the Navajo Nation coffers and to the state of New Mexico. So, and then now we're still providing for people, 9,000 people that come for coal every year. But anyway, I just thank the great Creator God for providing us this beautiful land. Go ahead, Shemaya.
Yeah, Shema, thank you for your many years of leadership. So it's good to see you here, Shema. Next, we do have Leonard Palmer Sr.
That integration, Madam Speaker, thank you. I don't, not okay. I don't mention it, somehow, because national machine, it was a machine for the chin, that's another company, that's a chain, at the next, Toricada in Nasha, Ricadisha, Ada, Nahan, Nahanzai Bagatan, so I couldn't Nasha, I couldn't, but the shadows and send the national house to note. Could have show this, I say, yeah, quite that knock a down, she told odd. Hard net on Chico, you should all be a call. Hard Nazan, how one Nazan be Kakadia, the Bitino Ashlapa. What's the Debicaya is some. Alina, I went to your cabin. Amber, though, she was telling me one time I was following her around. Every time we go to a tractor meeting, she would be there. You again? She said, no, I didn't. A couple. Should change those should never get analysis in there. It Bahashne be intent. Elia. 22nd Navajo Nation Council, intent Ita 22nd Navajo Nation Council. There's some values. If it's how they know that don't need intent. So that said, Nigeria, economic sovereignty don't need. Jo, none of the Joe Tantauta, Jo da se do an hibiken da so lan to do me. So ebe ka da ni ne. Kuna na so ya kitchen natural resources kitchen da ke do de ya e poko do so li kan da me da ka da kan da me do jo da se na so so shit an man pe ebe ka da o se to do me. So aro o ba no ba na kai to do me. Ebe ka da ni so他们所以人什么拿三把大样子的你，你是都可以啊，新把的那个你知道你，也不知道你呢。今年所以呀 projects 大时候做不大时呢，必须不大时呢，像我还有我大时候我弟弟呀的都你都来听知道你，可以不看好，也不拿，人家不看呀，不看他的呀，看 1 year 是啦。international بزيادة benefit إنه بتخطية زيادة إيتو بسupported بسن جنو ده إنه إيش بعد هالنص أكو ناس كده شيء ياك إيه هون جنو جين بيجستوده أروح لهذول بتشوف ده شيء دي إن شاء الله يا safety manager شليندا أجا Navajo manager 7 years إيش لا but I was in the safety department for 15 years. Part 72, yeah, talks about health. It talks about educating your employees wearing respirators when you're working with coal. Auto education, training, auto respirators, that's any banda, we pass them, auto bananas, but for the house is being that machine. Generally, at the house, we don't generally take this auto. So the make another wall. So on the county, the state, Navajo Nation, is the same place of the Nenahnezad. Hardan Juno Days, Eshata not in of it, Nasunani cow, George Fujin Day, to show that we need for a Koyat anyway, it's can't make just of it. I should need how she that Asian thing on the area knowledge. If it but I need to do not any couple of it. Are a hope consoles are any not so Sahanani, the area of Kari, needing not as no. At this tuning. Hope console. That need at the zero emission, 8 out there, it need all big, and know that not. What I did an engine that the soon don't can't make out of it. Also, I see that the door share to give me the crush out, I broke it to have see.
Thank you, Mr. Palmer. No, Kunenana Raymond John Senior, Vanasto.
Yeah, Shananta. Sharon John Senior, yeah. Not only as the Schminder, for here or yet, I said, no. I don't a cut now, but that's that. That wouldn't suit that in it because you have a tank, neither catching question. Thank you, Jenny. Those you better, I mean, you know, better or love it off. I call here, Nahano, Haikui, but here is you see, now the ship I have known that and there. Quite, then he needs it, I mean, that of non quite Hano, Haiti here. I could say, oh, I get hush net over there. Arizona Public Service, Jeff Cutting, don't Shanaka. This 1971, I got this. 1970s when EPA was formed. So I need EPA and yeah, I got the English. Don't eat in Michigan, yeah. Di nada to, please. Nada to, please. Quero ir a casa. Dan his non hati nakao. Everyone who's emission controls that EPA mandated, we went in and cleaned it up. So power plant was following everything and meeting the stringent mandates that EPA had mandated us. We're evolving. The mine and the power plant are both evolving
po nahina. No se, and it's learning as it's growing, as it's moving forward, and it's kat AI ko apen sida ke no. It's working together. Ako tenela hati ke misen tato neniki shift not anin shrinki pego ko shift lato o dango a kahati ni ya teho hashtag ya go APA asa aneniki bi eko ya eko jami ko il shito so hat ishin pa at a hadlon kin pa hat oro so o enjon dole ako go Dorothy, Nenad, Anini, Leniki, let's keep the Navajo talent here. Nakaachinin tayo kaya kung kanay to ka. Ikita na ito kahaniya. At nishi arit na so tandilo wisida kwa tabi. Leniki, let's come together and create opportunity. Let's create an opportunity through coal, through our natural resources. Beya chinendad nesto de akonakan nahas kaiko. Ya nasi ka. The nani tini ada o etini kede to live. Ado me sana pego keni edo window out keni ita to live. Ane shit. As if the skinning to check or not the to live. Ahot oil kapang suskis. Ado shift cuts ado ho one shift cuts ange shift agent shishne fletchen ben shishne she yet na ki agent ado kashet pseudo agent agnes. So there's 3 generations of my family in co-related industry. At this gen legend, San Juan College, Nakata Shito Daniel Lazi right here. Just School of Energy at San Juan College, College Cup. The age Chinabit, kid or Chinani can go at the home. Quite 15 or Sunilibi, you on the Akanash, because I don't know, half of it, no, but they have to go out. They have to go down to southeast New Mexico. How does she cut us in vigilant? Where any hidoki, ke jindro akon here, katahotnola, aja, and that we can just revitalize all that. Jo and that evening, just share it on Haban, Suskis. I do in down the area, I hear that, but Hadaho, Ado, Nikoroicha has seen Chinan, Ado, annual leadership.
Yeah, Shananta, thank you for being here too. Otto Kune Banaso, A. Stephanie Benali.
Thank you for giving me this time to talk to you about my story. For the cheating Shandor, Kabangan Bashishi, Kachi, that's a Chado, for the cheating Dashanella, Abdijinas at the 8, Ade Ayusinasha. My story, I wanted to start after graduation from high school. I graduated from Shiprock High School. I went to the University of New Mexico in Albuquerque. I started school there, auto. I applied for scholarships with APS, Four Corners Power Plant, and I got scholarship money there to help me pay for school. Auto, they hired me as an intern there for 3 summers. 3 summers I worked there. After that, I was hired on at APS. I worked there for 5 years. 5 years. I worked there. Worked with Marshall Plummer, he was my manager there at the power plant. So he taught me as well, you need to do it yourself. Don't say shut, don't get that word out of your vocabulary. On this, you need to do it yourself. go to school, apply for jobs, do it yourself, help your family out, take that chef out. Although I was hired on with, I applied for BHP Billiton, was hired on there. So I've been in the mining industry. This is gonna be my 15th year. So with that, I was able to provide for myself, have a steady income, benefits, retirement, thinking about retirement from there. Our employees at Intech, they have good wages, steady wages. They can provide for their families, their benefits, provide to provide for their families to go to college as well. You've heard some of the stories. They weren't thinking about college. They weren't thinking about graduating. Now they're able to do that for their families. Auto retirement, they're thinking about, okay, I can retire. I have enough money I saved up. I have enough money, I can do this. And so that way they can bring the new generation in as well. We partner as well with the local schools, Navajo Technical University, San Juan College, the Net College, and bringing interns as well to work for the summer, give them that job experience. So I'm proud of the interns as well. This is a starting point for them. They're thinking and planning for their future. So that's what I wanted to share with you. Thank you for this time.
Thank you, Stephanie. And next we do have Irma White.
Ja, Irma White, in the chef, put it in the short, that I was she. I am from Naizi, the chapter of Naizi, and originally from Chaco Canyon. So I appreciate your opportunity to speak to you guys about my story and how I support the proclamation and what Trump has signed. So, as I stated, I am from Naizi. My parents are Rena Warito and the late Archie Warito. I work at Navajo Mine in human resources. I truly am supported by everyone in my company. With school, we have opportunities in all realms of the mine site, whether it be from learning the different trades and through the apprenticeship programs, and giving back to the community with United Way, Navajo United Way. And there's a lot of bad stigma that comes, people talk about the mine, but there are a lot of good things that does happen within the mining industry as well. If you're a traditionalist, we do have ceremonies and things of that nature that we offer for employees to be a part of. We protect Mother Earth as well. And, this opportunity at Navajo Mine has always given me to either go to school, be more educated, understand the different policies and everything that comes, within the job, supporting my family, as well as my other generations, my grandmothers, my parents, my sister, my siblings, everyone, I contribute to their well-being as well. So I hope you make a good choice. Thank you.
Should they said we'll call up Eleanor Smith?
She Eleanor Smith is she not often there touchy in Slovakia and she say that she goes she made that she never is done. My mom grew up in the Nenahnezad on Zippi or Black Mesa, and she lost her precious childhood homelands to relocation. I grew up in Nenahnezad where her relocation home was built, and where we have many abandoned uranium mines. My husband and I raised our children in Shiprock, and where we have a farm. In this area, we have a history of coal mining and power plants.
that has burdened our environment with detrimental impacts to land, air, water, livestock, and especially to our people. Studies show that our Diné people die from cancer at 4 times the rate of the rest of the United States. For decades, our people have seen huge transmission pylons running across our reservation, right in front of homes without electricity and running water, delivering electricity to cities and towns off our reservation. The tragic era of the Navajo Hopi relocation should be a reminder and lessons learned that the extraction industry has not brought the promised wealth to our people. Black Mesa is now left in a worse state today, with their aquifers depleted, inadequate reclamation, starving livestock without vegetation. Most of my Zigijin relatives were left to suffer the devastating impacts of relocation, livestock reduction by shooting of their animals, clear cutting, inhumane treatment, and human rights violations of Zigijin residents for decades, compounding intergenerational trauma, which you can hear in the emotional voices of those who spoke at Forest Lake Chapter, who overwhelmingly spoke in opposition to more coal mining. Our reservation has been designated as a national sacrifice zone for extractive industries to exploit for the last 100 years, and this must stop. This is environmental injustice that creates a huge equity gap for our Diné. We cannot continue to sacrifice the health and well-being of our people and our Mother Earth. Nenahnezad. Decades of extraction has only benefited the prosperity of those cities and people outside our reservation. These are the reasons why I'm here to say "Tota" to any more coal and fossil fuels extraction in our communities. We want to be able to ensure that our children, our grandchildren, and great-grandchildren have clean water to drink, uncontaminated lands that they can farm on, and clean air to breathe, so they can thrive in a healthy environment to carry on our culture and language as the whole Nenahnezad. We have not been given an adequate informed consent process and an unbiased educational report by a third-party entity outlining both the pros and the cons with many of these mineral extraction proposals. Now, NTEC is wanting to buy Four Corners Power Plant to continue fossil fuel coal burning, which adds more carbon to our atmosphere and help create the climate change chaos that we are in now that is warming our planet. NTEC wants to use carbon capture sequestration to capture the carbon and bury it underground in the San Juan Basin. If this happens, we face the threat of groundwater contamination and dangerous carbon breaches in the event of earthquakes. Environmental scientists have tested CCS and concluded that it is not a solution for climate change, that it does not meet the clean standard rates and should not be funded by any government. We need a just and equitable transition to a more truly clean, fossil-free economic energy future, like sustainable solar, wind, to benefit our Diné communities first. Put our precious, scarce water resources first for our people, no more to industry. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Smith, for those comments. Adog Adie, the Adanja, not of kid. When the gunner enjoy lunchtime, they sneeze a Adja, not of kid. Especially the le Kadin, the Hajin Judats, that we think so, Ado Koje, Chiyan, and so on, Hania. Kujen Jinabota Titi, so Kodo Chairman, Ricky Nez, Kudo, Chiang had submitted that, so the deal thing, If you could provide a invocation for our lunch this afternoon, Chairman?
Goshi, Speaker Curley, Aro Bishwan, and again, Hano, Aroshidna, not so. Nehit Sanda Hadits, Hasot. Oh, this net. I'll kid out either. But then that solid be how it's in the Chiani Gishin Yasaki could have by Kitten Eatsy. Yari, need out to go to the easy. Nate caught and hit again, God. Oh, little young tail and hit again, Laney. Ah, nay, by Kate let me not have and he gets a slit or. Ah, preaching hands, so she in a bed, then that is in little. What's a deal, Zango? I don't know. I've been on him. Oh, in other side, Hegi, that in his fortune. I don't say, I should be clear, though, honey, air as a sheet. I said, what end of it's under she not in tin for no air. That it's not cheap and again, and can hit again, lean it over here in a bed. It's a split. Oh, a kitten snag or shame for all. Shanna need nego a codo. Nasi can little less not a ham, so go shame. Navigate kitten liniki. Ado conchian hash elia, gishin habredil, chitoya, teham hitchis, half a deal, benefit by half or teto benefits. Though you need Aaron hit again, Nanny, that yields Ziha nails for needs on 100 on Hanans, 8 ashwater. What's up in fishing? On second change your body, and then get a Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Chairman, for that prayer for lunch. But we're going to break for 30 minutes. And if we could have our elders go first in line, and lunch will be served to my left. So we do have a cafeteria in there. So we'll break for 30 minutes.
You want me to do a part two? Here's my name up. Okay. Hang on, thank you.